तव कथामृतं तप्त जीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमंगलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः. Welcome after this winter break. It's a long break, and we started reading this on February 4th, 2013. That was the 4th February 2000, the March, 4th March 2013, we started reading this Panchama Veda, which is actually the mine of spiritual knowledge. This Veda, now they have published, one gentleman, one American young man is there. He collected all these and then he has put it into the CDs, 2 CDs. Now they are selling from our bookstore, and containing 50 lectures, all previous lectures. That means 50 hours. Today, after this winter break, we will start hearing the Master, and he says, "Oh God." Here, when we study the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, there is nothing else but the spirituality, talk about God. And the very first thing on the Sunday, February 18, 1883, when the devotees came to him at Discrimination, he said, bow before God. Why? Because someone came and he was bowing before him. But he said, it is okay, but bow before God. It is God alone who has become all this. Sri Ramakrishna is a devotee, and he was worshipping goddess Kali mainly. Of course, he was worshipping the Govinda, the Krishna, the Shiva, but mainly the Kali. So he is telling who has become, that means the God has become all this. But in certain places, for instance, in a holy man, there is a greater manifestation. So when a person came to him, he touched his feet, then he said, bow before the God. Then he explained that the holy person is also equally, if not in the manifestation in that capacity of the God, but his manifestation of the spirituality much more. So when you are going and bowing down and paying respect to a holy person, that is also good for you, because through that person you are trying to understand the God and giving respect to God. This manifestation means what? This is the one question. So whenever we talk about, there's a example they say, the reflection of the sun on the glasses. It should be always every time the same? No, it depends on the condition also. Suppose there is a mud on that particular glass, so the reflection of the sun will be less, almost nil. But though that glasses which are clean, reflection will be much more. And if that glass is a mirror, almost the same or more reflection will be there. So that depends on the condition, the quality of the glass. Similarly, in the human being also, manifestation of God, what is that? Qualities. What is that qualities? The mental qualities, spiritual qualities. That is the beauty to understand Sri Ramakrishna. Every time, through different way, he is trying to point it out that spirituality is nothing but the manifestation of the all best good qualities that the human being is already having. That manifestation of the good qualities. One young lady came, she is very much concerned about the poor people. She is trying to help in America, and also they go to Africa. And she was having some question why people suffer. So we were discussing that just before this class. This is some of the karma phala. Because that we have done some work and that result is coming to us, either we are enjoying or we are suffering. Whether you understand it or not, accept it or not, but that is the truth. I was trying to giving her the example. Same moment, the two lives are taking birth, one in a rich family, another in a very wretched, poor conditioned family. And right from the birth, if you don't believe in the karma phala or in the past life, why then this person, this life, that kid in the poor family, right from his birth, suffering? And why the other one is enjoying? Same moment, in the same city, maybe in the same house, two different families, two different the sufferings and enjoyment. Why? Unless and until you go through the explanation of the karma phala and the past life, you cannot explain it. The past life is there. So if we believe in the past life, karma phala is there. And if we believe in the karma phala, then the question comes, why should we do good work to others, helping others, thinking about them? By doing that, with a humble mind, devoted mind, we are actually benefiting ourselves. It is not the benefit of the others. If we don't help them, not that they will die, they will survive. Only by helping them, we are helping ourselves. What is the basis of morality? This. But ultimately we have to believe in the existence of God, and that is what Sri Ramakrishna is telling this. Then in these passages we will get the answer, the wonderful questions that was put before Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. The question is, revered sir, what are the doctrines of Vedanta? We are sinners. What will happen to us? How can one see God? Sir, is it not possible to have the vision of God without the help of Guru? So this type of questions, the very important questions. And all these questions constantly it is coming in our mind also. We listen to this also. Naturally, the answer from the Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. And how he says? He says, sir, what are the doctrines of Vedanta? See, Sri Ramakrishna never studied Vedanta. Not like us, there's all the time reading the Veda and the Upanishad and the other auxiliary books. But he understood the real purport of it. Just exactly he said, the Vedantist says, I am he. That is the whole of Vedanta. The Vedantists say, I am he. Brahman is real and the world illusory. Even I am illusory. Only the Supreme Brahman exists. That is the whole of Vedanta. So many Vedas, so many Upanishads, so many auxiliary books on Veda, and so many great souls explaining on those things, ultimately comes to what? This thing. Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya Jiva Brahmaiva Na Para. That Shankaracharya, and he is the person actually who has explained so many. And then ultimately he said, I can tell you in a half a sloka, sloka ardhena pravakshyami. I can tell you in a half a sloka, yad uktam grantha koti vihi, which the crore and crores, millions and millions scriptures have said, I can tell you in half a sloka, not in a complete sloka. What is that? Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya. Jiva Brahmaiva na para. The Brahman is truth, but all this universe is illusory. That is what Sri Ramakrishna said. I am he. Even I is illusory. This I. The I, when we say I, this is the body that we really mean. That is also illusory. What is illusion? That is constantly changing. It's not permanent, constantly changing. But we are thinking that this is permanent. So this is the illusion. We know in the Mahabharata, then the story, when the Dharma, he was asking the question to Yudhishthira, and he was asking, can you tell what is surprising something in the human life? And he said, ahani ahani bhutani gacchanti yama mandiram. Every moment people are dying, but those who are surviving, they think, I am not going to die. They see people dying all around, every moment, but they think, I am not going to die. And that is illusion. Kimascharja ataparam. So this is the most surprising thing. What else? So this is the most surprising, that we cannot understand these transitory things. Even the last moment. Sometimes some phone call comes, they say, Swamiji, we like to give you some donation, whatever we are having, because we are on the almost deathbed. So I like to give you whole thing to you. That's okay. Whom we like to give? To the, that's okay. Then when you are going to give? No, let me see when I die, then only I will give. Now, after your death, who will give it to me? So I said, no, you better enjoy. Why should you die? Don't think of it. Rather, when you are alive, distribute. Whatever is necessary for the support of your life, you keep, and then you yourself distribute. Why you are giving to me? Yourself can do it. There are so many all around people, and they will be so happy. Anyway, so it is very difficult to accept this temporary nature of this life, and that is called illusion. And this illusion, I is the main illusion. Who am I? Before my birth, I knew who am I. After my death, I will not know who am I. So like this, the I is the most illusion. And here Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, for the Kali Yuga, the path of bhakti is specially good. He was asking about the Vedanta. In the Vedanta, Veda Anta, the last part of knowledge. Veda, knowledge. Anta, end. The last part of knowledge is Aham Brahmasmi, that part. That is Advaita Vedanta. There is Visishta Advaita and Dvaita Vedanta again. And in the Dvaita Vedanta they say that God is there, I am here. I can realize God, I can reach God, I can go to God, I can listen to God, I can talk to God. So that way, Sri Ramakrishna said, Kali Yuga, this present age. So this path of bhakti is good. One can realize God through bhakti too. Because this knowledge that I don't belong is so difficult. I am surviving, I am going to the office, I am working, I am getting the salary, I am doing these and that, but at the same time, I am thinking I am not. It's very, very difficult. So obviously, it's only for a few people it is possible, the jnana. But for the bhakti, it is always good. Whenever I am coming, I purchase some fruits and sweets and bring for the God and then give it to God, and then I take the prasad. So that way the God and me both are existing. So there is no problem. I decorate God, I feed God, and then I sing bhajans to please Him. So many ways I can do that. Here Sri Ramakrishna is telling that. But another person, he is asking, sir, we are sinners. What will happen to us? Because in those days in Calcutta, a lot of, now is also, a lot of Christian missionaries, mostly the educated people from their schools, so they used to always learn sinners, sinners, sinners. So you are sinners. It breaks actually the human confidence. I am a sinner, I can't do anything, somebody I have to depend on. So that way, they always make them weak. So dharma, the religion, instead of making a person confident, makes them weak. So he is telling, we are sinners. He is confident that we are all sinners. Now he is telling what will happen to us. But Sri Ramakrishna is not in a mood to counter all these things. Previously and afterwards also, in different occasions, he will be telling why you are talking like that, why you think that you are a sinner. But here he says, all the sins of the body fly away if one chants the name of God and sings His glory. So the simple solution, very simple solution. Only what we have to do, the mother also is telling, don't stop repeating the name of God. Just like that clock is moving every second, like that you should go on repeating the name of God. All sins of the body fly away if one chants the name of God and sings His glory. These two things together, always, he says. Chanting the name of God, at the same time, remembering the glory of God. Chanting and remembering. What is the remembering the glory of God? The qualities of the God. The person or that particular God or goddess, what type of qualities they are having. The kindness, broadness, acceptance, and all so many in the Ramachandra, in Krishna, in all gods, we get all those things. And then if we go on repeating, you'll say the Hanuman Chalisa you were reading. There are so many qualities of the Hanumana. Those who are actually worshipping the Hanumana, they are supposed to get those qualities. Those who are worshipping Sri Rama, supposed to get those qualities. So this way, again we find, it says, Sri Ramakrishna is giving the example, water of a reservoir dug in a meadow is evaporated by the heat of the sun. Likewise, the water of the reservoir of sin is dried up by the singing of the name of glory of God. So this is really important. Giving the example of the God, that as the sun is the whole water, similarly, simply the name of God will dry up all the sins, remove all the sins. Only need what? A faith in the words of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna and practice to repeat that. These two things you need. Same in the faith in the words of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, I am going to be purified. Because Sri Ramakrishna said, if I go on repeating the name of God, that's why Diksha is so important. Unless and until one is getting the sorry, for a few days it is going on, so I'm sorry. If I am repeating the name of God as in the fashion of Sri Ramakrishna's teaching, that I am taking the name of God and that very name is so purified that I am going to be purified. And who is this God? The qualities of the God. And that those qualities will naturally will come to me. Then it says, you must practice it every day. So how to realize God? How to get peace? How to develop in the spiritual life? These questions are haunting. People are going here and there, listening so many things. But only if they read these pages of the Panchama Veda, we get all the answer from the God Himself. And here he says, you must practice it every day. The practice. When we are practicing, to taking the name of God, then suddenly we see something, we forget. Oh my God, I am so sorry, I forgot. Then he is not repeating the name of God, but remembering it and then texting to the one Swami, then see it happened to me, what will then happen? Instead, bring back the mind, start repeating again. Bring back, that is called practice. So if we could do it in one go, constantly, then it was very good. As because we cannot do that, there's no harm. We'll try again and again. Then, a very important word Sri Ramakrishna is telling, weep at least once to see God. These are very special type of words. We never hear like this, not even any Bhakti Sutra. Weep at least once to see God. Weeping, who can really weep? When I am having that strong desire, if I am having that strong desire and that desire is not fulfilled, having a strong prayer, that prayer is not answered, so naturally I am really feeling that I am not getting all my answers, all these things. So that brings tears in my eyes. God, you have shown yourself to so many people. If they have seen you, could talk to you, why not me? If I am not ready, make me ready. And you know, the moment you are just thinking that you can give me darshan, you can make prepare my mind in that fashion, in that way, so that I can understand you. If we cry like this once, and for that you have to go to a lonely place. For everyone you cannot do that. So these are the practices of spiritual upliftment. How we can realize God? By practicing these. What? One, constantly repeating the name of God and remembering the qualities of God. Second, once in a while, at least once in a week, if we can, cry for God. And to cry for God, you have to be very lonely alone. And sometimes we read in the life, Swami Vivekananda, Narendranath, Dakshineshwar was very lonely and full of jungle. So somebody heard that someone is shouting and crying, praying to God, Narendranath. Just like a mad person, he is going in the wood and crying. Master Moshe himself also did like that. In the dead night, he will go outside in the wood, and there he will be crying to God, please come and bless me with your darshan. So like that, they themselves have practiced it, not that they have only noted it. So that is the way Sri Ramakrishna is teaching. These then are the two means. Now he is summarizing. These then are the two means, practice and passionate attachment to God. Practice and passionate attachment to God. This attachment is very important. This attachment means when I am thinking about God, when my mind goes to God, I cannot think anything else but God. And when I could not take the name of God or do anything about God, that gives me a lot of pain. How could I forget God? That is called attachment, passionate attachment. Here in this Sri Ramakrishna again, it says, there is another class of devotees. You know, this is the normal devotees, they are trying to do it. Some people are there, very fortunate. And he says that Kripa Siddha. Kripa Siddha means, he himself says, that is to say, those on whom the grace descends all of a sudden and who at once attain his vision and knowledge. Siddha, the immediately attending the vision of God. He has not practiced. He never prayed. He never wanted that particular person. But the God, out of his own self, coming and giving to that. Now if we go and ask, I was praying to you, you never came to me. How come that you have given a darshan to him? A question. Because his free will, he can go and give it to any. That is called Kripa Siddha. Kripa means the grace. Siddha means the blessed. Because of the God, grace is blessed. I think I told you the story of that lady. I don't know why. So in a remote village in the northeastern state of India, one lady never heard about Sri Ramakrishna, never saw the picture of Sri Ramakrishna, and no question of remembering or calling or meditating or praying to Sri Ramakrishna. And one day morning she came walking a long distance along with her neighbor, only to point it out to Sri Ramakrishna's picture and to tell that this man appeared before me last night. When I was sleeping, he came, woke me up, and he said, go to Cherrapunji, and there is a Maharaj is there, and go and tell what I am telling to you. He woke up, not in dream. And then he was talking with Sri Ramakrishna. He found that whole room is lighted. Both of them came out, crossed the small that courtyard, then opened the gate that is opening on the road. And afterwards, when Sri Ramakrishna suddenly went away, he started thinking, who is this? Why he came? And naturally, in the villages, they think that the ghost and all that. So she was very much worried. Went to the neighbor's house. They decided very early morning. They started and then asking different people. There is to our ashrama, because they used to call us Maharaj. So these people brought them. Then that in charge Swami took her to that shrine and showed, can you please point out who came in your dream? And she excitedly, before the question was complete, she pointed out to Sri Ramakrishna and told, this man came. And the Swami was telling, Thakur, what is it? We have left our hearth and home only to get a glimpse of yours, and you never came to us. And we are doing every day and night chanting your name, meditating on you, performing your duties, only to please you, but you never came to us. This lady never wanted anything, never knew about it, and she don't care about you also, whether you come or not. Then why you are so much graceful? Then of course, this is Kripa Siddha. He is getting the vision. And then Sri Ramakrishna is telling those who lead a householder's life should practice spiritual discipline. They should pray eagerly to God in solitude. So this is the mainly for the householders. In solitude, they must go and practice. And to that person who was asking questions, Sri Ramakrishna said, God cannot be realized through worship. All should strive for devotion to the lotus feet of God. God cannot be realized through scholarship. Because many people are there. Those who are professors, they are philosophers, they are studying about all this, they know all about this and much more, but they cannot realize God. Why? Achintya khalue bhava na tam starkena yojayet. It says in the Bhagavat, this bhava, this conception, just by tarka, just by debating, you cannot understand it, you cannot get it, you cannot realize God just by debating. But this is a achintya, you cannot think about, kalu, know it for sure. Giving this promise, e bhava, this conception of God, infinite are the glories of God, how little can you fathom them? Can you ever find out the meaning of God's ways? You cannot understand how God is working. Infinite are the glories of God. Then afterwards he is thinking, a man thinks, I have practiced a little prayer and austerity, so I have gained a victory over others. This is another thing. The moment someone goes and he is in front of God and offering food and doing some arati, he thinks, I am purer than thou, I am holier than thou, and I am close to God. Ordinary people, they go and tell, can you please pray for me? Why not you pray? Because that is what Sri Ramakrishna is teaching again and again. Don't take the help of anyone. You go and pray. Because within your heart, the same God is there. Not with the, then another person is asking him, how one can see God? So God, this question Sri Ramakrishna has answered in a different way, in different time. Here he is in a different mode, we can say. He is answering, not with these eyes. How can one see God? Almost the same question he was answering. First, you have to go to sadhu sangha, in the company of the holy people. You have to listen from them, listen to them, and then you have to go in a nirjan, in a quiet place, and then you have to contemplate whatever you have heard, and then discriminate, is it good or bad for you, and then finally pray. So these are the 4 or 5 steps he always repeated. Here he is telling completely in a different way, confident that God can be seen, but he said, not with these eyes, God gives one divine eyes, and only then can one behold him. God gave Arjuna divine eyes so that he might see his universal form. In the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, the Vishwarupa that Arjuna saw, that is because the God gave him the divine eyes. Your philosophy is mere speculation. It is only reasons. God cannot be realized that way. The philosophy that always we are fighting with the philosophy only. So all different type of groups in the different religions, and they are in different way. People are very, very confident that only their path can take to us to God, and they don't believe the others will also reach to that same goal, to the other paths that they are following. So that is the main problem for all the religions. And now, in this modern world, in different places, mainly in America, people are trying to understand each other. So, the Parliament of Religion, here in the soil of Chicago, the first Parliament of Religion was organized long back in 1893, and then they are trying, and different groups are also coming up, trying to bring this idea, but they are not understanding philosophy is one thing, realization is another thing. I really feel if they study the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, the problems are solved. And not that they have to accept Sri Ramakrishna as their ideology or as their God, but they can understand and can accept and can utilize his teachings. If he is speaking in that way, he is telling, not with these eyes, but God gives the divine eyes. God can be seen, but with the divine eyes. Your philosophy is mere speculation. It is only reasons. God cannot be realized that way. If we are constantly going on trying to understand that God created this, I am also like this, so it will be like this, the result cannot be 1 + 1 = 2. Every time it may not be 2, because in the God's realm it is totally different. God cannot remain unmoved. Now he says, if you have the Raga Bhakti, first he said Bhakti, and then the Kripa Siddha, then now he is telling Raga Bhakti. This is a special kind of Bhakti. God cannot remain unmoved if you have Raga Bhakti, and that is love of God with passionate attachment to Him. Love of God with passionate attachment to Him. This passionate attachment, this is very important. See, sometimes we place the God's picture and then we worship God, but I don't believe that it is really God. Because 80% in the subconscious mind is only picture. So we just do whatever we like. I saw the other day the small Ganesha, someone decorated Ganesha, and with so many flowers the Ganesha cannot see. Both the eyes are covered. Not only that, it is so difficult for Ganesha even to breathe because whole body is covered with that flowers. The one he was having so many flowers, what to do? Apply on the Ganesha. But suppose you feel in that condition, if somebody is putting 2 flowers on your 2 eyes and block your passage, nose, and then how you will feel? We don't think like that. When you are rubbing, we rub so roughly, we don't think that it must be God feeling. So when we are touching, it must be very, very careful. That's called Raga Bhakti. When the Raga means a total attachment, total love for God. In that condition, you are always alert that my behavior, my action, my ways should not hurt God in any way. Some people will be going even after that very on the so that there is no sound. The God is sleeping, so he should not be disturbed. In Belur Math, if you go, that is the tradition that was taught by the direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. Ramakrishna ji, Premananda ji, they used to see how you are offering the fruits. Can God eat at this big fruit if you are just putting like that? Will he be able to give a small piece? But properly dressed, so that if he wishes, he can take it and taste it. That's called Raga Bhakti. Even the banana, when you are peeling, you should not hold the banana with your finger. Rather, you should do it in such a way so that it comes automatically on the plate, because naturally, by nature, it is covered. The moment I am holding with my fingers, it is getting contaminated maybe. So, when I am offering the fruits on the plate, that devotion called Raga Bhakti. That Raga Bhakti, if we are using, applying, practicing, Sri Ramakrishna says, Raga Bhakti is pure love for God, a love that seeks God alone and not any worldly end. Prahlada had it. He is giving the example, only I want God and nothing else, and this is very rare, we know, almost impossible. Then he is singing, though I am never loath to grant salvation, I hesitate indeed to grant pure love. A Bengali song translated into English. And it says, I am not hesitant to give mukti, liberation, but I am reserved, I am very hesitant to give bhakti, because that you have to achieve through long practice. Ami mukti dite kator noi, bhakti dite kator hoi. Kator means hesitant. The gist of the whole thing is that this is the speciality of Sri Ramakrishna. Whatever he will say, he knows the people won't be able to remember, so again he will repeat and repeat with the gist. He says, the gist of the whole thing is that one must develop passionate yearning for God and practice discrimination and renunciation. These are the two qualities without which nothing can be achieved. Discrimination means vichara, and that is very rare. All people in the name of God and in the devotion, they will be applying so many rules and regulation, which is unthinkable. How can you constantly offer food to God? Can anyone take or eat food every time, all the time, whenever anyone is coming, we will offer? Should not be any timing? But majority of our temple, they do it. Why, you know? Because they need money. And they don't like to disturb the devotees who are bringing it. Rather, let the God be disturbed, no problem, because he is not going to harm us immediately. But if the devotees are not coming, so only to satisfy the devotees, constantly going on showing the light and offering food and these and that. We do it regularly almost in every temple because we are not sure that God is there. If I really felt that God is there, naturally I will be hesitant. How can I offer food every time? Whoever is bringing, I cannot give it to. There should be a timing. As a human form, human being, we take in the morning, maybe a late morning, then in the lunch, then in the afternoon, then in the night. That time we will offer. Keep it over here, we will offer that particular time. Or once in a day we will offer it. Most of the Vedanta societies, they don't practice this ritualistic thing. They explain about it. So psychologically they are free. But moment you think that you are constructing a temple and you are putting the God over there and prana pratishtha, that they call, that means invoking God to come and sit over there. All these things you have to practice. It's not so easy. So anyone having some money will purchase an image and no, I will pay for it. Don't bother. Put the image over there. And then who is going to clean the image? That I don't know. Who is going to offer all fruits and the puja? That you think. Only thing, in a big way, you must give the pluck that I donated that image. So this is the devotion. So if this is the devotion, how can you expect that the God will be so happy? So this Sri Ramakrishna is pointing out, putting the finger on our eyes. So these are the things, the gist of the whole thing is that one must develop passionate yearning for God and practice discrimination and renunciation. This discrimination, is it good for the God? Can I also, suppose I am there, is it possible for me? Ma Sharadamani Devi, some devotees came, she was sitting over there for hours together, and they came late, and then they were offering pranam and going on washing her feet and doing this, doing that, without imagining it is so late, she must be hungry, let her go and take some food and rest. No. So someone has to come and harshly tell what you were thinking. She is leaving. So similarly, whenever we are coming to God, we are decorating God so nicely. And similarly, we have to understand the God also enjoys. Yes, so nicely. Everything should be neat and tidy. There should not be anything else. So that is called Raga Bhakti. Sir, is it possible to have the vision of God without the help of Guru? Sri Ramakrishna's answer is wonderful. And he says, Satchidananda himself is the Guru. First he says there cannot be any other Guru. Why? Because to remove the darkness, remove the ignorance. What is that darkness? What is that ignorance? That is my ego. That I always feel I am, I. Because of that only all this problem. Can any ordinary people remove that ego, that darkness, that ignorance? That's why Satchidananda, that means the God himself. But here he is not telling the God. He is mentioning about the Brahman, the Atman, the consciousness. Satchidananda. Here he didn't use the word God. He is telling that consciousness, whom we call Brahman. And sometimes we explain that Satchidananda Sarupa, his existence, his knowledge, his bliss absolute. Satchidananda, he only can do. He who is the Guru is also the Ishta. The Guru is the thread that lead to God. But in form, a person is coming. Name of God. If the Guru has going repeating, and that is the thing that slowly he will reach to God. That is the way the human Guru will always help. In the Vivek Chudamani, if you read, in one place, is asking, happy. If there is a burden somebody is carrying on his head, others may help. Maybe his son or relatives to unload that burden. But the burden of your life, you have to do that. No one can. And suppose you are sick, you have to take the medicine. If anybody else is taking the medicine on your behalf, you are not going to become cured. So you have to take that medicine directly. Similarly, if you like to realize God, if you like to get the blessings of God, Guru will tell you, these are the things you must have to practice and do, as he has already said. The passionate longing for God, discrimination and dispassion. What I am going to do with all this? When I was young, I have earned a lot of money. Now that all my responsibilities are over, what I am going to do with this? Now share it with the society. So that is the way one should think. Here he is thinking, he is telling, he who is the Guru is also the Ishta. The same, that is why, how come he is a human being and how can he be the Ishta also? Because the consciousness, the same consciousness. And here He is the thread by holding which you can reach to the God. Then he says, if you ask me which form of God you should meditate upon, I should say, fix your attention on that form which appeals to you most. This is the speciality of Hinduism. Why we are having so many gods and goddesses? So many different forms? Why not one? Many of the Hindu people now they are thinking, so because they have grown up over here, so they came and they were telling, Swamiji, can't we remove all those things and make one? I said, that already some people practiced. It's not you alone. You are just thinking. In some people, they thought remove all the forms of gods and goddesses and think of only formless God. That is Brahma Samaj, Arya Samaj, Prarthana Samaj. All the Samaj came in that 18th century, 19th century beginning. But that is not the answer. They could not survive. The answer is to understand why all this. So many images only to help us. Whichever image you think that you can concentrate on, you can love, that is your God, that is your goddess. So that is the beauty of the Hinduism. Sometimes we misunderstand, but the vastness, the freedom that the Hinduism has given to us, fix your attention on that form which appeals to you most. But know, this is important, but know for certain that all forms are the forms of one God alone. All forms are the forms of one God alone. A group of devotees, they are trying so that they can assemble and can discuss about the religion. They are mainly trying to read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, Bhagavad Gita and all that. And individual rooms, individual houses, it will be difficult. So they went to a temple, Hindu temple, huge temple, having so many rooms. And one of the management, he told her, no problem, you can come and sit in one room. Once in a week only you are coming, there's no problem. You need not to pay anything, only clean that room, that's all. When the next man came in charge, he told, no, it's not possible. And that time I went. They took me with great enthusiasm, Swamiji, we are going to do. So they, instead of those people, they took me over there and told, this is this, this is that, we will be sitting over here, putting Thakur over here. I told, all that we will do. But who is the authority? Bring him, talk to him, see that whether they will allow or not. Then when they contacted, the gentleman came, oh, you have come, you can tour, I can see, but we don't believe in any other God except this. So if you are doing some chanting or meditation or puja of this God, then you are allowed. Otherwise, I am sorry. I told, see, this is Hindu. So that is why, because he could not understand the basic of Hinduism, and he thinks that he is Hindu, and the way he was walking, every step was proving that he has understood the Hinduism and he is very proud of it. God helped him and bless him. But the problem is that narrowness creates all problem. And Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of parliamentary religion. We are now talking about parliamentary religion. He is the embodiment of parliamentary religion. And he says this, and I conclude, friends, with this: never harbor malice towards anyone. Never harbor malice towards anyone. All the same. Thank you very much for coming in this evening. From now